Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 1 of Vast Grimm, Radiculous Terror, as named by Michael. This is the bi-weekly actual play of Vast Grimm. Vast Grimm is the first RPG published by Infinite Black. It's a brutal sci-fi horror setting where each member of the Legion is trying not only to survive, but maybe save what's left of humanity. We'll find out as we get to know everybody's characters. It's compatible with Morkborg and uses their third-party license, and you can find out more about it at vastgrimm.com. And the Pledge Manager is still open on GameFound if you enjoy the show and want to maybe play it with your friends. I'm Brian Colin, I'm the GM, and I'm the creative lead for Vast Grimm. So, we're going to talk a little bit at the beginning of this episode about some of the basic rules and a couple little things before we dive in, because this could be your first experience with Vast Grimm. It's a very rules-light system. It's easy to use. It for most things, it uses a d20. Everybody has 4 stats, and there will be a modifier with a plus or a minus. Especially starting out like this with very, very early characters, there may be a lot of minuses to the rolls. Everything is based off a difficulty rating with a standard difficulty of 12. I will scale that based on how complex the situation is or how weird and crazy things get. But that's pretty much it. The setting, it's been 663 years since the 6 who were disciples of Fatuma went to the Mausoleum of They and used these magical tributes to find a way to unlock it. And when they unlocked it, these little parasitic worms floated out, and each of them became infected with one. And as they went out to spread the word of Fatuma and of what they thought they had found, they then in turn infected other people. And these worms grew inside of each of the people that were infected. Soon their eyes kind of glistened over with like an electric blue hue to the eyeballs. Veins of pink started running through their faces, and they became the Grimm. Now, it's been quite some time, and the universe has gotten infected a whole lot. There's not a lot of humanity left, and those that are around some are out just trying to pillage and get what they can. Some people are trying to save humanity. And there's a few that believe that there is a gate of infinite stars that's being built by some scientists and engineers that they believe might open a portal to a parallel universe, a multiverse, who knows, but they're trying to find a way out. Everybody starts with neuromancy points each day where they roll a d4 and add their presence modifier to it. Neuromancy is the magic in the universe. Some people will start with tributes that are like little trinkets that can be unlocked and do weird, crazy, magical things. If they fail or fumble, really bad stuff can happen. But then everybody does start with a number of favors each day, which are the things that will save your ass. You can use them to neutral a fumble, you can use it to re-roll, you can use it to adjust the difficulty by 4, you can use it to do max damage on one attack. You can also use your favor on one of the other members of your legion. Say you only had one, say you have 3 and one of your other legionnaires has none and they are in a really tight spot, you might want to spend one to help them out. Or you might not give a crap and let them die. You know, things happen. Luckily, we have a quick character generator if something does happen like that. Because we are a group of friends, we talked ahead of time about things that happen in the game, like lines and veils, things that may occur in the universe of Vast Grimm but won't happen in gameplay, and things that happen but we will kind of gloss over them. We've discussed that, and we know what that is with the system. If you're doing any sort of horror game, please use some sort of safety tools, especially when you're playing with people that you're not super familiar with, because you want everybody to have a good time at the table. We also have X card. If anybody gets uncomfortable during the game, they can send me a message with an X in it, and we will jump over that or skip on to something else. Now, without further ado, this is our Legion. The Legion has been together for about 3 weeks, and a Legion in this setting at one time would have been some sort of military ranking, but so much time has gone by. Really, any group of people that can band together is now a Legion. They get together and they try and hang on and do things together because, well, there is strength in numbers. I will let the group know, tell everybody a little bit about their characters and tell the other characters what they know, what the other members of the Legion would know, and then we'll start off with today's story. So, since Michael, you were in the top of my screen, would you mind starting with you?
Yeah, of course. So, g'day guys, my name is Michael. I am the Dead Aussie Gamer, and today I will be playing Dr. Matisse Demar. He is a researcher and formerly a resident of a small hospital as he finished his studies. Once he did so, however, he was invited to go and spend his regional internship at a small colony that was terraformed. However, the process was a little bit more harmful to the atmosphere, and the actual vocal cords that Martis has, as well as most of his respiratory systems, were dissolved in a caustic atmosphere. Since then, however, he has had to wear a breathing apparatus and a mask, and has been traveling around after receiving some rudimentary financial compensation from the hospital for inconveniences, as they like to call it. He has decided to join the Legion in order to try and ensure the health and well-being of others, while at the same time avoiding major cities and the like, which may judge him based on his appearance.
Excellent. How about you, Katie?
I am going to be playing Dr. Z, also known as Devar, I'm going to butcher her last name here, Zeltrabun. She is an older woman, slightly over middle age. She has gray hair and walks with a limp. She was involved in an accident in a laboratory facility. She was a research chemist, and she was in an accident involving, they had gotten their hands on a worm and were trying to do experimentation to hopefully come up with a solution for them. And after an explosion, she was the survivor, but it came at a cost, and she now limps as she goes. She has constant pain in her left hip. She's fairly easygoing, doesn't get rattled too much, but has a profound fear of insects. Just absolutely terrified of insects and does not react well around them at all, and will do everything in her power to destroy them as soon as she sees them.
Excellent. And Dave?
Hey, I'm playing Kuro Codex, a treacherous merc, CC for short, or among his friends with few he has. And he's a promising officer that had a bit of a dust up with the last Legion he was with. So he's been on the move ever since, looking for a new crew to run with. And you can usually smell him before you see him. He's always chomping on this fat stogie and billowing out like a locomotive as he goes. He can be a little bit careless and reckless, and also he's a little concerned because it seems like the doctors are very accident prone.
Excellent. And Tony, tell us what the Legion knows about your character.
Are we on a ship?
You are. You are actually on the. You are on the Hollow Serenade, which is a yacht hole. A yacht hole is a beautiful, sleek vessel that once belonged to some rich a-hole in the verse before joining the Grimm. Even though it's pretty and like it moves at a good pace, somebody before you got it like just kind of gutted the whole thing. This is as many frills as this ride should have. It does not.
Excellent. So I'm playing Kinds 57, which is an emo bot. I came with the ship. So whenever y'all got the ship, I was on board. Well, a lot of the things that got gutted out, like there are times you'll find me cleaning something in midair. Like it's very obvious that whatever sort of programming is injected into me, I'm still operating on some old information. And so I go about my tasks pretty silently and dutifully. And there are a lot of times where you may think you're alone in the room, and then all of a sudden you'll turn around and Kynes has just happened to kind of stroll in behind you and is doing something in the corner, cleaning, fixing something, doing repairs, and is always happy to engage when anybody wants to have a conversation, but has kind of a sad tone to their robotic voice at any given point in time also as well. Also like glitter, like constantly covered in glitter for whatever reason it seems like.
You mean like kind of like a walking trapper keeper, like?
Yeah, like you can't tell if it's coming off or going on from something.
I'm
But
fine with everything you've said up until this point, and now you are completely
Right.
sus, and I think we need to boot you off the show.
But that's
just-
okay.
you've never
If any,
seen-
I was gonna say, if any systems go wrong, right, we'll know instantly if he's in charge, because we'll look at the keyboard and be like, it's covered in glitter.
Covered in glitter. We know who's been here.
So yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so what you know, like the auxiliary cortex capacitor on the Hollow Serenade gave out like 5 light cycles ago. Luckily, your yacht hull was floating close enough to the waste barges of Kalar that you managed to float by and get towed in just before life support was exhausted. Now, Kynes 57 would have been just fine, but you managed to get pulled in, and you networked, you scavenged, and then you bartered for the part you needed to off a scraper named Axton Sauvage. What you know about the waste barges of Kalar, at one time everybody in the verse would send their garbage and their trash out to go somewhere. They didn't care where it went. It just kind of left their space. And all this garbage went to these waste barges. This guy that goes by the name of King Saul always found treasure in everyone else's trash. And so he built a community that continued to grow on these waste barges. So these barges are piled high like giant junkyards. But then beneath all the mess are tunnels and pockets and communities that live on each of the barges. The barges are connected by almost by like a kind of like a little a cart that's on like a cord, so it'll kind of go across, so you can easily go from one to another. Sometimes there's somebody there trying to get some sort of barter out of it to go from one to another, depending on which barge you're going to and from. But you had just recovered a part for the ship that you needed, and it was the auxiliary piece, so the main one had already gone bad. You were relying on the backup one, and then the backup one went bad. So that's kind of how things went down, and you managed to get it off of Axton Sauvage. He was a little bit shifty, but that was the best you could do, and that was the best thing that you could find on the waste barges here. As you're kind of traveling, as you're working your way back to your ship, these 3 people kind of come up out of the tunnels. You were deep in the tunnels beneath the garbage and trash, going through the tunnels to your yacht hole. When 3 that kind of, they look like they're almost in these makeshift sewn patch trench coats with all sorts of weird gadgets and pieces coming off of them. One person has like an old rubber ducky that's filthy and grimy, kind of tucked in, sewn and stitched onto their shoulder pad. They look at the 4 of you. One of you has something that was taken. You need to see the King Saul. And then you see the other two. The other two. One's got like these kind of like giant like spikes of hair sticking up all over the place with weird things kind of woven into them. They all look very tough and menacing. There's scars over the other guy's face. One of them cracks their knuckles, and you can see like a big, almost like some sort of metal piece that came out of some ship that they're using as some sort of makeshift brass knuckles.
Far be it for me to avoid an introduction to the king. Let's go.
Well, hang on a minute. I mean, should we perhaps be walking around with these people who are, let's just say, the unsavory-looking sort? I mean, how do we know that these people are even working for the king?
Unsavory? Look here. And he points to like this pinned on like kind of plastic star, like some like a that would be some sort of kid's toy. I'm the law here.
These tweakers are the law?
I'm not
It would appear
tweaking.
so.
Well,
Did
look,
anybody take anything you weren't supposed to take?
Not this time. My hands like kind of fall to my waist, crossed. One over my tactical knife, the other over my laser knife. Go meet
I'll
the
sort of
king.
like rummage through my my kind of very like worn but still clean lab coat, and just no, I do not. I don't believe I have anything.
Kinds.
I mean, theft would be dishonest.
All right, then it appears none of us have taken anything. You sure you got the right group?
Well, they said that you were the ones that were in the recording. They said that you were the ones that came through the network, the screen. So you're coming with us, one way or
Is
another.
is one of us like carrying a part at this point?
Oh, I assume that Kynes is carrying whatever part very obviously.
That we
Yeah,
picked up.
and that's a pretty big part. So it would be, if that was what was stolen, they would be eyeballing that like pretty easily, and they're not looking at that at all.
Hey Heinz, how fast can you pop that bad boy in?
It shouldn't take more than a few minutes.
You're not
That's
going
not
anywhere
accurate.
until you go see the king. And
Come on, guys, let's go see the king. It'll be fun.
Crack
It'll be
their
a
knuckles.
lark.
So,
Yeah, Matisse will reluctantly agree to go.
so I grip the daggers, and let my hands just fall away. I guess the king it is.
The two of the thugs kind of start leading down the corridor in the direction you were heading, while the other one kind of lingers behind as you start to continue to work your way through the tunnel. Knowing how your group, your legion gets together, what sort of marching order would there be with you? This is kind of there's enough room for it to be like a 2x2 space.
I figure Dr. Z will probably she's kind of impatient, so she probably usually takes the front.
Okay.
Unless Kynes is told something different, he is always in the back, and there's probably an awkward moment between him and the guy who's obviously waiting for us to move forward before he goes, where I'm just like staring at him dead-eyed, and he's staring back at me dead-eyed.
I think that would probably be Matisse standing side by side with his again respirating mask that he can't take off, just looking at like these two very very spooky looking things, just staring at each other at long lengths before they kind of just march forward. Yeah, no, Matisse doesn't like attention very much, and ironically, the giant glitter robot likes to draw a lot of attention away from Matisse, which is why he likes to gravitate around around Kynes.
Excellent. And
Yeah,
Koro.
Cece walks directly in front of Heinz or Kynes,
Okay.
knowing that he's going to be much better at stopping incoming projectiles than anyone else.
Excellent. Okay. Very good. So as Dr. Z is taking the lead behind the one that had the plastic badge and the one with and then the other one with the spikes, they just kind of take you through it as you work your way through the corridors. The smell gets a little bit better. Like in the waste barges deep below, there's little drips and drops of who knows what. It could be oil from some sort of leaking engine. It could be some sort of goo and slime. There's always something dripping, gross, and kind of sticky and kind of stinky. But as you work your way towards like the king's court, it's starting to open up and it looks a little bit cleaner. It looks like somehow, like out of all this refuse, the walls are now being pieced together out of nicer, bigger pieces instead of so many little bits and pieces, and they lead you to this giant, almost like 20-foot entry archway that has all these little strange dolls that have been like pasted and tied up around the arch, and they've all been spray painted a chrome It's like they've been coated in some sort of chrome Krylon paint, so it has a little shine off of the flickering blue lights that of the electricity that runs through the tunnels here on the waste barges of Kalar. As the two open the doors inward into the hall to let you in, it opens up into a large, like 60-foot-ish kind of circular space, and there at the far end is this weird throne where a guy that kind of looks like a strange mix of Danny DeVito and like Guy Fieri, with like this like kind of bleached hair going up, this really dark beard, and he's got this crazy ass eye makeup all around. He's kind of hunched over, kind of sitting sideways in his chair, and he looks up at you. He grabs some sort of weird slimy reptilian creature, takes a bite out of it, chews it, throws it back into the slop bowl that it came from, and he leans over. You also notice like a couple of little kids that look kind of just they look a little filthy, but their clothes don't look like they're in too disrepair. Leans over and tells them something, and they just kind of scurry off to the sides of the room and kind of move their way back into some of the shadows that some of the room shapes from all the bits and pieces kind of make in here. So, come in and kneel to your king. I am the king here, you know.
So we've heard.
Does just for my own mental picture, does he have like a Burger King crown on his head? Like,
No, but he may, if he would probably love one of those in barter or as a gift.
okay, all right.
So, I know one of you has something that you shouldn't. You may not have known where it came from or why you have it, but it is mine. And he looks all of you up and down. Grabs another one of these strange amphibian reptile creatures, takes another bite out as you see like kind of yellowy, like a neon-y yellow, thick fluid kind of go down his chin as he wipes it off and licks his wrist and where it dripped on his hand. Come on.
What is it you're looking for? I'm not sure we know what you're talking about.
Are you sure you don't know what it is? There was an antique toy of a chubby little boy holding a burger, a strange meat sandwich. It was stolen from somebody else on the barges, but they had somehow gotten it out of my vault.
Well, I don't have anything like that on me.
And I find that the accusation is quite insulting. Just because we have come here for parts and we are perhaps travelers from a distant place doesn't mean that the first thing we are going to do is steal what is clearly garbage.
Hang on, I've got it on our cameras because I knew that he had it, and I knew that I was going to get it back.
Well, if you've got it on camera, how do you not know which one of us has it?
I wanted to see how many of you would die for your legion.
Well, if these folks are saying they don't have it, they don't have it.
Yeah, and of course you're also willing to find out not so much how many of us are willing to die for one of us, but how many people we're also willing to kill for another member of our legion.
I don't survive this long as the King of Kalar without knowing how well I'll do in a fight.
How many?
You might have a good point. I look around to see if
How
there's
many
like.
guards are in here?
Everybody roll a presence test. That's going to be, you're going to roll a d20, add your presence modifier to it. The standard DR for things is going to be a 12.
That is that's a dirty 20.
Nice.
13.
14.
Okay.
14.
Okay, so as you're looking around, you see all of a sudden what looked like just kind of garbage walls. Everybody just kind of steps out, and it's almost like the whole 60-foot room, you are surrounded by people. There are easily, let's see, there are easily 18 people in there. So most of them are just kind of holding like some sort of lead pipe or something like that. No, they're all kind of makeshift weapons. What you know of the waste barges is the energy that is here. Most of it that is generated is used to kind of keep the oxygen levels going beneath all the trash. They're not going to spend their money on batteries, or they're not going to use their energy on batteries to be able to use like pulse rifles or blasters or things like that. So they're pretty much ready for any sort of just straight on melee.
With respect, King Saul, you've wanted to know how many of us would die for each other. We're a legion. We stand by each other. Now, if there's something else that you want to know, something that would inspire you to want to know if we're going to kill or die for each other, now would be a good time to clue us in on that.
I respect that you stand by each other as families should. But that one with the mask, that one that's next to that shiny-looking robot, tell him to get what's out of his... Get what isn't his out, and give me his hand. And he all of a sudden he pushes some buttons on a thing, and a little screen, like a little hologram, pops up, and you see while you were doing business with Axton trying to get the piece that Kynes is now holding, you just kind of see Matisse kind of look around and just grab this little plastic thing about this tall and just kind of slide it in.
Well, this is outrageous. Clearly, this is doctored footage. I would, and as he's talking, just out of his coat pocket, this tiny little toy of like a coin bank with, a fat kid with a plate that has a burger on it, just kind of falls onto the ground. He looks at it. He looks at you. He looks at the king. He looks at it. He picks it up. He puts it back in his shirt.
Really?
You bastard!
Really?
Look, I just all right, it's fine. Maybe perhaps this is, but it's garbage. Everything here is garbage. Nothing belongs to anyone because it has been thrown away.
That is not garbage. That was from my vault.
I do not where I found it. Even in the photo, it says there that I did not find it in your vault.
That's because it was
Give
stolen from me.
the man his toy.
There's a price that
I'm
must
very
be paid.
scared. I am terrified of your character. I take it out of my pocket, and Matisse kind of holds it a little bit, and as he does, he sort of puts his hand out towards Dr. Z with the toy. He kind of holds onto it for a few seconds, like as it's
Smacks his hand.
and I'll let go.
Your Majesty, your toy.
Thank you. And he takes it. He looks at it. He looks at the checkerboard pattern that was once on the overalls of the toy that's now almost completely faded, and he slams it down on the ground. And then, as it hits, he also manages to pull this rock that you didn't even see beside him, where the bowl of weird creatures that he had been eating on, picks it up, throws it, and it shatters the toy on the ground as you see a small little device fall out of it. It looks not too far off from what a lot of the tributes might look like, but it's just a little jump drive. There are things that I like about your Legion. I like that you stuck together. I like that you owe me. There is a price that you must pay. I can either take one of his hands, or you can retrieve something for me. I will leave
You
that
have
up
a favorite
to
hand,
the four
Doc?
of you.
Look, I am a doctor. I am a surgeon. I do require my hands for things. And I would like to point out, just on the sides, that my hands are way more valuable than the porcelain thing he just smashed to tiny pieces.
Well, he's got a jump drive thingy in there too.
Oh, well, I would still say that it is still more valuable.
I have a question for you, King.
Ask away.
Is there payment involved in completing this task?
Payment.
Yeah.
Well, yes, there could be payment arranged. We have many things here on the barges, many things that you would find of
grabs
interest.
the doctor's hand and just slowly lowers it.
Okay. I will behave. I will behave. Mount.
I would gladly, if you return alive with what I'm asking for, with what was on this drive, then yes. I will pay you handsomely. It will be not be credits like you may be used to, but you can get credits for the things that I will give.
She turns to the rest of the group. We don't have any other pressing matters ahead of us. Getting paid is a good thing.
Yeah, this is true.
Getting paid
And
is
it
good.
allows us to keep our doctor's hands intact.
And I would be most appreciative of it.
I thought he looked quite dashing with a hook.
Dashing, yes. Effective, no. Not for the things he typically does. It'd take a while to learn to use a hook for that.
So, what are we retrieving?
Well, he's like, grab that thing that's on the ground. As he grabs another weird creature, takes a bite out of it, chews some up.
Engage
his face
retrieval
off.
mode. Like, go over. I've got a small dustpan and broom that I like, hand broom that I pop out and like sweep it all up.
As you sweep it up, you notice that it is a little jump drive that you could easily plug into your system to try and then be able to project the data, much like, say, a little R2 unit might project a little hologram screen if you wanted to, Kynes 57.
Just stick it in. I mean, I don't know where this thing's been, and so
True. It could be filled with malware. Yeah, you might not want to do
it
that.
could be. It's
that's
happened
okay.
to Heinz 55.
Just take it and blow into the bottom bit.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah.
I have
Yeah.
no clear anything else.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, you hear a small whirring as a small jet of like air like puffs out of Kynes' mouth. And look at the king like in what internally Kynes thinks is a questioning mode, but has no real readable mode on his face, and then like sticks it in.
As it goes in, like all of a sudden, like your eyes just kind of start seeing weird maps and bits and pieces of the universe as all sorts of things start happening, and then it goes. A projection comes out, and it is a star map is before you. You see star maps all the time, and there's oftentimes the star maps themselves become hacked and become mixed up. And a lot of times things get crossed off, especially if people are trying to hide certain things. But all of a sudden, this small planetoid is on there that you've never seen before, and it's not too far out of the way of the trajectory of where the waste barges are in how they kind of go around the sun. It's as you zoom in and popping as it zooms in closer to it, it's just labeled Archon. And it's like ARCON, and then it blinks, and then it's almost like a roadside neon sign. It pops up and it just goes blink, 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 and then fizzles out. That is where I need you to go. There is something there, and I believe this drive is supposed to act Almost like a treasure map the closer you get to it. As you get within the right diameter of space, the map will reveal new things and more, give you better guidance as to where you need to go. There's a strange piece of machinery, barely bigger than the piece that bot is carrying now, that I need back here.
What does this piece of machinery do?
That's none of your concern.
If we're gonna have it on our ship, it absolutely is my concern.
He kind of gives you a look up and down and is like, you're a good leader for this Legion. It's a piece that some engineers want. They think that this piece will be part of a bigger mechanism that'll be able to actually fight off the worms.
Really?
Yes.
All right, then.
I mean, I know we've all heard those little bedtime stories about the gate of infinite stars and being able to go to some other universe. Yes, like anywhere else is going to be safe. This is going to be a line of defense. We're going to blow them to shit.
I'm intrigued. Happy to be a part of it.
I'm skeptical, but screw it. Nothing better to do.
Yes, no, this sounds like a most gracious and kind reward that we have for, of course, this slight we have made against you, King. For that, I am very sorry, and this sounds like a very good idea, and I think we should all get into the ship and begin your quest. Alonzi, as he kind of turns and sort of when he turns, he's like walks into like the guys surrounding him, and he's like just trying to push back. Pardon.
Actually, it would be good if you could let the doctor and Kynes go install our piece in our ship. That way we can wrap up with you and we don't waste time.
Sure, that sounds fine. Go ahead. And by this point, everybody's just kind of faded back into the wall. Like he must have given some sort of gesture at some point that allowed them to all just kind of fade back into the trash and into the shadows.
The guys who I patted, was one of them the sheriff dude, the
Yes.
guy with the badge?
Uh-huh.
Can I steal his badge?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
You whichever you think you would use more, either agility or presence, you can roll that and
Definitely presence. Like this is like part of like the distraction, like the sleight of hand, like kind of I'm creating a diversion. Yes. I mean, maybe. I don't know. That was really a bad roll. Oh no. 19.
19, excellent. Like he's just like trying to push you out of the way, and you easily like figured out the little crappy plastic pin clasp on it, and just kind of palmed that so easily.
Yeah, this is like a cereal toy kind of thing. Like absolutely. And that I look at I look at Kynes and I go, shh.
Yeah, Kynes has been like trying to give someone this dustpan full of trash like for the last few minutes, and no one's been, so like he's come up alongside you and is actively trying to like empty it into this guy's hand while you do this.
Get that out of my hand! Get away from me! What? Just get back on your ship. What? Trying to put your filth on me?
Okay.
Go get the part, put back in. We'll meet you there.
I'll stow my cleaning equipment inside of me and go grab the piece of equipment.
Excellent.
Yep, I'll go and assist where I can.
Okay. They had
Thank you,
towed your
Doctor.
ship. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying thank you, Doctor.
While they're away, CC and Dr. Z, what are you doing in the court of the king?
Have you considered implementing a drug testing program? These guys seem a little off.
They're just sometimes a lack of oxygen will give you a little bit of a twitch.
Sure, let's go with that. All right, then. Is there anything else we should know about this? What we're going into? Do you have any intelligence on what lives there?
That thing, that rock that showed up on that screen, I've never seen it before.
All right.
So Archon is not a planet that has shown up on any of the previous star maps that you've ever seen. It's not anything that you've like run into. So it's just something. It's almost like an uncharted space. But it seems close by. So how it's been overlooked for however long is strange.
How did you come by this information?
And didn't you say it's a part of a weapon?
It is part of a weapon, and how I came about it is, well, I have my sources.
Maybe when we get back, you can fill me in on what those sources are.
Maybe, or maybe for the right trade. Maybe you'll find something else on that planet that would be worth information, because, you know, information is valuable.
I think you're going to find us so worthy of this information, you're going to give it to us for free.
I certainly hope so. It would be good to have a reliable legion that benefits not only from what we do, but we can benefit from what you can bring our way.
Hey, back to the weapon, right?
Yes.
We need the other parts to make it effective so we can, like, smash worms.
You don't need the parts. Don't worry.
I would like to smash worms.
Sure, who wouldn't? But they're smarter people at work here than any of us.
I believe that.
Well, I don't, but I'll give it to you. All right. Do we have a timetable?
Just try and make it back.
I get back to the ship, and I like you. You hear me whisper, engage repair mode, and I just drop it in the exact spot that it goes in, and then I say into repair mode, and then go back about.
Excellent. As you do that, make a presence test. Just do a DR10. You should be able to solve this pretty easily, but just in case, somehow you got some of your glitter mixed up and it wasn't connecting properly.
I mean, I always wipe the glitter off first, but when I do that, only more glitter gets on, and so
just say you can't wipe glitter off. That's not how glitter works.
It's a vicious cycle.
It is.
I did end up with an 8, so.
All right, you drop it in. Are you going to fire up the ship, or are you going to wait? I believe CC usually pilots the ship.
Oh, I'm gonna go back to the normal cleaning regimen that I have set up after I engage in repairs.
Okay. While that's happening, is Matisse doing anything on the ship?
Yes. So Matisse will, of course, start the pre-flight checks. Just making sure that all of the areas are secured and the like, making sure we don't have any unwanted stowaways. Just the basic stuff. I also go to my quarters, as it were, and while no one's around, I kind of lift up the mattress, and there's like this sort of carved little alcove of just assorted crap, and I'm gonna put the little toy sheriff star in there with it, and then close it up, and then cover it up with blankets and stuff around. And then make my way to the bridge, just waiting for CC and Dr. Z to arrive.
Excellent. After you, Dr. Z and CC, after you asked those questions, was there anything else that you wanted in the King's Court before heading back?
No.
Okay. You make your way through the halls. Nobody escorts you at this point. They just want to make sure that you actually came to see the King Saul. And as you work your way back, you're pretty familiar now with this tunnel and how you got to where your ship was pulled in. It wasn't actually pulled into this barge, so you did have to take like a cable car from this to another barge and then to another barge from there. But once you get there,
when we get on the ship,
mm-hmm.
I'm going to go find the other doctor. What all did you take?
Well, I'm insulted. Why would I? Why would I have taken other things? I mean, it's
Because
okay.
you had that look.
Look, it was the sheriff's small, tiny little toy badge. But look, as far as
All
I'm
right.
concerned, it's souvenir. It's souvenir.
I think that's just his normal face.
I mean,
no,
what
he
he's
was doing
going to.
that jumpy thing. I figured he wanted to get out of there, so I sent him and Hines back, or Kynes.
Yes, well, you do know me so well. But look, it's an old habit. Okay, I had to make my way after the planet to make my way by, and this was what I did. So, and I figured, okay, fine, maybe my mistake was, of course, taking something that was hollow, that maybe had something inside of it. But there's clearly nothing inside of this small badge, and of course, he was very rude.
He was. And frankly, I don't think the problem is taking things. I think the problem is getting caught taking things.
Ah,
So
yes,
work on that.
I, oui. And
Who do you
also
think
for
this clown's working for? Like, he's clearly not in charge of things.
Unfortunately, I get the feeling he's in charge of this area. Now, who's leading him? That I have no clue.
Yeah, I agree. Like, he's in charge of all the tweakers, but this plan seems a bit complicated for him.
I agree.
almost as if he was presented with maybe a gift or an idea. I think we'll find out more. Maybe there'll be a data stamp on the map itself, or in any of the places that we will visit on the way. We may be able to ascertain something then.
Yep. Let's go through that file as thoroughly as we can while we travel. You good to pilot, Cece?
Yeah, I got it for sure.
You go to fire it up to try and get things ready to take off, and it's like you go to start turning it over, and it's like where it would normally start to power up a lot better than that. It seems as though the cord that you got is not firing properly.
I will go to where the part was replaced and take a look at it.
You can see that it's almost like part of it is just covered in like a glittery oil streak, where it really needs like a nice a nice connection, and it's just not quite right. It needs to be wiped down and cleaned off a good bit before you'll be able to get this yacht hull off the ground.
Yeah, I grabbed my pocket multi-tool off my hip and started undoing it and, pull it out and then begin wiping it down with my shirt. And just like totally disgusted with all the glitter that's on it, and then try and drop it back in.
Excellent.
As you're finishing up, I lean over right behind over your shoulder and go, "Do you require assistance?"
Kind of.
And glitter like falls off.
Enough. I think. You know what? I think one of the airlocks needs vacuuming.
I have vacuumed all the airlocks in accordance with our normal pre-flight flight checklist.
Yeah, I bet you have. And I drop it back in. Where you can get more glitter.
We pan to a camera shot of the actual airlock covered in glitter.
So now that you've got it back in,
I forgot I have a filter on. Cece, what's going on? Have you got that piece in place?
Well, we're gonna find out. There was a little bit of a gunk around it, like kind of like side eye kinds.
This is a normal problem with secondhand parts.
Oh, I know. I am well aware, and I kind of look you up and down.
As you go to turn it over this time, it fires up properly, and you get ready to kind of break off of the waste barge before igniting and blasting off. You have a general idea of the vicinity that you're heading in. Are you going to do anything? Like, are you gonna plug in the drive into your ship and try and like do the coordinates that way, or are you just going to kind of head in that general direction?
I want to head in that general direction, and get kinds to come up onto the onto the bridge with me, and hey, why don't you keep that thing plugged in so that we know we're going in the right direction? Since we've already put it in you, that seems safe enough.
Of course. Can I activate it again? Like, are we able to like pull it up?
Sure. Yeah. You basically it's kind of before it was self-activating. Like once you plugged it in, like you just have a little spot. You just popped it in, and it activated on its own. So I imagine that you took it out so that it would stop. So you can pop that back in and see what happens.
So basically, I can turn it off and turn it on again and go through the whole sequence. But there's no,
Right.
There's no scrubbing feature here.
Not that you've come across yet.
Okay.
So when you do
Is
that,
that the only file on that thing?
can you say that again?
Is that the only file on that thing?
Kynes, do you want to try
Are
and
there any other files?
do you want to like look through it and see if anything else comes up?
Yeah. Checking.
Okay, checking. Roll a presence test and let me know what you get.
Oh, I got a 20.
Nice. All of a sudden you see all these schematics that was that a natural 20 or a modded 20?
It's a nat 20, yeah.
Okay.
It's a nat 20.
There are all these folders that somehow you didn't see before, but you found like continuing to go through all these like subfolders and subfolders that were unnamed, that were just dots. You follow the rabbit hole to where there are schematics of some sort of giant like pulse cannon that has easily 50 different pieces to it, but it looks like this is something that could just obliterate like worlds. It's some sort of giant devastating device, and it looks like the piece that you are going to as you're unlocking it, that not only does this have a map to there, but it also has a map to many places that pieces have been stored.
Kynes relays that there's a number of other locations stored on the device. That's it.
Excellent.
What's in them?
It appears to be other parts.
Other part to the weapon?
I don't know what you guys are thinking, but I don't think we should give the king the part. I think we should get him. Who can we possibly trust other than us with this weapon?
Let's look into where these other pieces are. If he just has one of them, I say we take it.
Well, you see, there's also the fact that he has sent other people to go and retrieve it. If the king does have a part, it could be because he suspects that it might be as difficult to acquire more pieces as it was to acquire the first.
Yeah.
We may be flying straight into a trap. I think we should...
Probably are.
Yeah, I think we should definitely be cautious, and after we maybe retrieve one part, we could decide on whether or not we should recover the others. Because if the king obviously still wishes to accrue all the other pieces, he will eventually need to come and grab it from us as well if we keep it.
I would feel much more comfortable with a weapon of this caliber in our hands than in that guy's hands.
There's nothing to say that he actually has any parts yet either.
This is true.
Does this look like something that's been copied numerous times, or do I get a sense of like, are any of these like checked off? Like, do they have boxes next to them?
No,
like,
none of them are
acquired.
highlighted in different colors. They all look they all look the same in the file, like the file structure of how it's all put together. Once you broke through it, so it's hard to say if anybody would have gotten it. Looking at what the drive was stored in, and especially Matisse having pocketed it, Matisse, you would realize that was probably some antique coin bank. The top where some sort of like coins of some fallen society now was all like blocked up with maybe somebody had shoved some sort of something in there that just kind of hardened over time, and the bottom that would have some sort of normal like twist thing to pop off was just like sealed, and it's like it was fused. So whoever was hiding this it's not like they were trying to probably take it in and out and like have access to it, use it hide it again. It's like this thing was hidden for a reason.
And these appear to be the original files. Like this isn't like a copy of a copy.
Not yeah. As far as you can tell, it's like everything was just put on this drive and copied directly over.
Now, it shows the weapon, the schematic, and all the parts. But is there a map to these different places as well, or is it just the map for the one?
So you don't see the schematic. Only Kynes 57 saw the
and
schematic.
I did not share that information.
Yeah,
I shared that there are numerous locations with multiple parts.
So you just know that there's
So, Kynes, what's going on in there? I kind of come over and shake his head a little bit.
Would you like to see some of the other locations?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything close to where we are?
So you are actually closest to Archon now. It looks like there are a couple, as you're looking through Kynes, it looks like there's a couple of space stations floating around the verse where some pieces would be, and there's a couple, like, in the Belt of Despair, there's at least 2 different places with at least like 5 days travel between the two. And then there's one that's supposedly on Proxima B. And then the others are just strange coordinates of small science space stations that have, it's almost like they have a homing beacon to them because they continue to move.
I'll relay all that information.
All right. Well, should we go for the closest one, or should we? Is there another?
We go to the one we came for first. See how difficult that is to get, and then we move on from there. If we want to get the rest, we go after the rest. But let's do this one first.
All right.
Sounds like a good plan, Z, and I will begin heading in that direction.
Okay. As you say that, you're heading in the general direction. Kynes, are you just going to stand there with the map up or sit in a seat in the on the bridge?
Unless anybody tells me otherwise, I'm just projecting the map.
Okay. You were basically, from where you were about a day and a half travel to get to this unlisted planet. Over that course of time, is there anything that any of you want to do?
I want to make some concoctions.
Excellent. Very good. Do you have the book in front of you, or do you want to just roll and have me tell you what
if I can just roll, I don't have the book open in front of me to do it.
It's going to be the D8, and then... Okay.
I believe, let me double check it. Oh, that's on the other sheet, sorry. All right, so it's a D8. I got a 4.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. You get ass blasting, which I believe you had on your sheet.
I do. I do have ass blasting.
And you can roll D4 for the number of doses, and then you would get a D8 again.
That's going to be 1 dose.
Okay.
And for the second, that's a 1.
You get a nanite dance party, and I will just that's basically, if it's injected, it's a toughness test or shake and soil yourself uncontrollably for D6 rounds, whoever gets injected with it.
Okay. And I get 2 doses of that.
Excellent.
Thank you, sir.
Sure. Anybody else have anything that they want to do while traveling?
I would also like to make a concoction.
Okay.
I would like to make some alcohol.
Excellent. What are you making the alcohol from?
I will distill anything that I am also fermenting.
Okay.
Let's say that there is. I mean, what do we have in terms of food, in terms of supplies?
So you would probably have you probably wouldn't have a whole lot of supplies as you've been traveling around and you've been running out of stuff. But since you've been on this ship for a while, I would imagine that whatever you've been fermenting and making, it's been in the process for some time. So you have a slow drip of constant alcohol going. It gets a little more potent each day.
Ah,
It
wonderful.
is-
And that
It is whatever type of vodka gets made out of potato flakes.
Yeah. That's
Ooh, the high quality stuff.
Yep.
Oh yeah, the great stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. That is absolutely. I nurture it like I nurture a small child. I like with the same kind of intensity, right? Like just like it's like yes. Go back. Yeah. Oh.
I want to see the baby.
She is not ready yet. She needs another 2 months.
All right.
As I'll continue to maintain this very potent vodka.
Excellent.
Now, I
Nicely.
do have a question. One of the items I have is an inoculation dart gun.
That's
I was just gonna say, can I use the nanite dance party as a dose in that?
yes. Yeah, that's what the inoculation dart gun is for, all the doses that you have, so that you can shoot them at people, or if you wanted to, if it was like a healing thing, you would just put it up on yourself and not actually project it from a distance.
Right. Okay, cool.
Yes.
Good to know. All right, I'm done.
Okay. Does CC have anything, or is Kynes doing anything?
He
other
would
than...
just kind of like patrol the ship when he's not piloting, and kind of check on general maintenance stuff.
Okay.
Especially any place where Kynes has been cleaning, to make sure nothing's going to be gunked up or anything's going to fail.
I would imagine that like even your bedroom has been cleaned with a little bit of glitter. So...
Yeah, we always look like we've come out of a strip club.
Yep.
When we get off the ship. So,
I do think Kynes has figured out that they have to clean from one end, like out the door, right? Like they can't clean from the door and then walk out. They gotta go to the far end of the room and actually clean up their own trail on the way out. For important areas, while there's still tons of streaks of glitter just all over the place.
Excellent. So the day and a half goes by very quickly. When you start getting close to the destination, you notice that the projection that Kynes 57 is shooting out, it's almost like this planet starts coming into more view, and you see that it has around it almost like a transparent circle, as though it's some sort of cloaking field around the planetoid itself. As you move in closer, you can even see that it gives you specific routes that you can see that where there's a certain path that it's trying to guide you on to actually come into it. So without setting off certain things, you see like there's little dots all over it. If anyone would like to actually like push it to, it's like you can hit the map and it would blow it up a little bit and expand it more to kind of go into more details about what is on this planet space, or what's on this map.
What are those spots?
Kynes, you know those.
oh, touch ones.
Zooming.
As it zooms in, it calls out specific electric pulse spots on the map, so that it kind of gives you an actual a path to go, so that you won't hit these electro pulse landmines, essentially, that are protecting the outer sphere of this planetoid.
It appears to be the safe angle of approach.
Oh, that's good to know. Why don't we take that one then?
Cece, are you going to navigate this looking at the map and then do it by eye?
Yes, I am.
Okay. I'd like you to do a piloting test, and I know your piloting it's going to be the normal difficulty would be a 12. We're going to make the difficulty, or whatever, your piloting's a DR10, I think. So we will make it a 12, because this is more challenging, because coming upon the planet, you can't actually see the field. So you're kind of, you're looking over at Kynes, you're getting an idea of proximity to where you are and where your yacht hole is, where the Hollow Serenade is, and how you're going to kind of fly through these invisible spaces.
All right, folks, hold on to your buttholes. This might get rough. Oh, and it does. It does. That's a 6. It goes off of presence, right?
Yeah. So, do you want to spend a favor?
Oh,
to
you know, I
reroll?
will spend my favor.
Okay.
To reroll. That's correct. Well, it definitely went in a direction, but not a better one.
Oh, no.
Oh no. Okay. Unless you have another favor that you want to spend, or unless somebody else wants to spend a favor.
I do not. That's it. That's all she wrote.
Yeah.
I'll spend a favor to jump in and kind of help sort of jerk the wheel at the last second, and so to speak, and kind of help get us through it.
Okay.
Kind starts going, warning, warning,
Yes.
warning.
That's a dirty 20.
Excellent. Somehow, CC, Dr. Z, knows how to get through the space, and she pilots it straight through, just barely. You can feel the ship almost like it's about to scratch the edge of this electro pulse, as you can hear it going zzz, and kind of sizzling outside of where your ship is as you make it down into the atmosphere of this strange planetoid. Looking down, it's like the surface is almost like it's completely man-made. It looks like it is made of metal. The surface, although there are strange mountains building up off in the distance where it looks like there's some sort of snow or on top of the mountains, even though the surface of the planet looks like some sort of engineering feat of science. Aside from the mountain ranges that are around this small planetoid, that is the map itself is kind of guiding you into where two different mountain ranges seem to be. There seems to be a lull down in between them, and it's guiding you to go and park there.
Well,
Does
set it
anyone
down
else
over
hate the
there.
idea of... Oh, sorry.
What's that?
Does anyone else hate the idea of parking where it tells us to?
Yeah, but also there might be more mines.
Yeah. Yeah,
I mean, it seems that if they wanted to destroy us, it'd be easier just to let us run into the mines.
It would be.
Are there any scanners on the ship?
There are. I mean, this is the ship itself was mainly like a frill ship, so it's not like a super heavy ship. What sort of scanners are you looking for?
Biology scanners. See if I can detect if there's any organic life by the landing pad or by the area, the coordinates that we're heading towards.
Sure, there'd be real basic ones, so it wouldn't go very far from where your ship is, but you can go ahead and scan those.
Sure, I will do so.
Okay. You want to just give me a roll and let me know what you get?
Yes, I rolled a 15.
Okay. You're working the scans. You've done this before, and it's pretty easy. And it looks like something has actually attached to your ship while traveling. It doesn't seem to be like there's anything down around like where you've landed or where you're about to land. But there's definitely a what's probably a salzarite that has attached to the exterior of the ship. You've known that these giant spider-like creatures often, when on other planets, will kind of hitchhike their way to other places by going and then hibernating on the outside of the ship as they freeze in space, and then kind of thawing out once they get to a new surface.
Yeah. We have a visitor, a stowaway. There appears to be what were they called?
Salzarite. They're giant jumping spider-like creatures with big pinchers and exoskeletons.
Yes, there is a salsarite on the hull of the ship.
It's infested. Kill it. Kill it. Kill it now. And she goes running down the hall to go get her shotgun. Down the hall to go get her shotgun.
There she goes. She was landing the ship, so I mean, Cece, are you good? Or should I mean?
Yeah. I think I can take her from here.
Oh, okay. Oh, I do not like it when she leaves the wheel like that.
Can I try and shake it off the ship?
Yeah, you could try. That's going to be a piloting skill. Like now that Matisse has looked on the sensors, you can kind of see where it's showing up on the screens because you've got a couple of screens here. You see where it's kind of attached on the back, like right side. So basically, like if you wanted to do that, you'd kind of have to pilot and kind of like either scrape it like against the side of like a mountain, or like try and do like some sort of like twirls to try and fling it off.
I definitely want to try and do the like. I want to start like coming in for the landing and do like the spiral.
Okay.
And then see if I can't like slam on the brakes mid spiral so it stops spinning.
Awesome.
So as I kind of look over at CC and I can kind of see CC's like little wires kind of clicking, you just see Matisse sort of just sit back in his chair, and just grab the seatbelt and just like. Hands off the keys, just kind of holding onto his chair. Like, we've been here before.
Yep. CC, it's time to make that piloting roll.
All right. Oh, that's a 2.
Straight into the mountain.
Well,
halfway
3 with
through,
my
halfway
presence,
through the
but,
piloting roll. Halfway through the piloting roll, when it's far too late for it to be of any good, you hear like a bing bong bing. All of a sudden you hear my voice come over the intercom. It says, "Please prepare for high G-force maneuvers."
Dr. Z,
what's our rating for this game?
it can be whatever you want. It's fine. Yeah, this is
Okay,
this is
down the hall. You just hear.
And make Dr. Z, make an agility test because the ship is starting to spiral. You're going to roll your d20 plus your agility modifier.
Okay. Agility isn't terrible. Oh no, that's a 4.
You go flying, smashing into the walls of the ship. Roll a d2, and that is how much damage you will sustain. You can allow your, I believe you have armor. If you are wearing it, you can roll that to see if that'll soak any of the damage. Kyne's 57, and Matisse, you are going to have to make an agility roll as well, but you kind of saw this coming as CC was starting to do this, so instead of a normal DR12 for the agility, it's going to be a DR10, just to try and grab onto something and hold into place as you're spiraling down towards the planet.
I'm in a seatbelt.
Oh, yes, you are. Okay, never mind. You're fine. Although, like, as it goes, it definitely, like, you feel it like digging into you as the ship is starting to spiral.
Safety first, kid.
I would love instead, like, I don't think it's Kynes' move to try to hold on at all. Like, I am flying through the air. I'd like to make a toughness roll if possible, just to see if I can, like, properly absorb that impact.
Absolutely.
Is that cool?
Yeah, totally.
I ended up taking 1 damage.
Okay.
Thank
And
you.
that's a 16.
Okay. Yeah, you do. You have you've been in the ship with far drunker pilots before and know your way around and know where to fall properly.
Know where to slam into the wall.
And in the sake of fairness to what we're doing here, I would like to also roll an agility test to try and dodge the flying Kynes bot.
Excellent.
That's a good call.
Yep.
That's rattling around the bridge now, so yep. I'll do that for myself. Just okay, that's good. I'm actually pretty good tonight. Like that's okay. So I rolled a 17 with a -2 on my agility. So that's a 15, which is actually
that's
not
great.
bad.
Yeah. Like you see Kynes 57 starting to fly by, and you just kind of duck down as he soars by. So the ship is spiraling down and coming in, and because was that a 2, CC?
A 3 after we modify it, but yeah.
but because all the help that you had by Dr. Z is now gone, you managed to make it through the the force field explosive stuff, but you were spiraling and come crashing down into the ground, the landing. Everybody,
Bing bong bing. Please brace for impact.
After we hit.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like we crashed, and then as everything is grinding around us, you hear the bing bong bing in the background.
You
Amazing.
completely smacked in. Dave, I'm gonna have you roll another piloting test to see how well you might have pulled
What could
out
go
of it,
wrong?
to see if you managed to save the ship at all, or if you're just kind of here.
Well, how do you guys feel about walking? That's a 7.
I'm buying you new dice, Dave.
I will spend.
I'm rolling a variety of dice. It doesn't actually matter.
I'll spend I'll spend 2 of my favors. I'm going to spend 1 for a reroll and 1 to reduce the difficulty band.
Excellent.
Oh my god!
What'd you roll that time?
Oh, 1!
Are you just blew up our ship?
So instead of oh well, no, you already said you were reducing the difficulty.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody, like, as soon, like, you hit and you hit hard, and when you hit, everybody is even Matisse that's buckled in. You get slammed. Everybody take D2 damage from the initial impact, and then Dave, roll a D4.
That's a 2?
Okay. All of a sudden, what sensors still remain on the ship that are intact are going off, like everything. It's flashing. It's like all systems are powering down. You hear all sorts of alarms going off. There's definitely things that are on fire. There's some sort of leak within the system. You're starting to everybody make a toughness test. It's gonna be a D20 plus your toughness.
Toughness is not my jam.
13.
13,
12.
12.
That is an 11.
Okay. And Dr. Z?
I rolled a 2, but it's a 1.
Oh, damn. So there's some sort of gas that's definitely making you dizzy. Dr. Z, do you have a favor that you want to spend to re-roll that?
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and use my last favor for it. Oh, that's a crit.
Nice.
That was
nice.
a good use. So that's a 19.
Okay. So you feel like there's something in the air, something is leaking, and it almost knocked you out, but something, you had a second wind and you shook it off. What is everyone doing? The sensors are going off, and it seems like it's going to be like cinematic, where like a car crashes and then everything just blows up. It seems like this is going to be happening soon.
All right. So with like kind of wires and sparks hanging over Matisse, blood kind of pouring down one side of his mask. You can see like kind of these little flashing LED lights, like, you know, that normally light his eyes up, but they're kind of like struggling at the moment. He unbuckles himself and he stands up and he goes, "CC, CC, are you all right?"
Yeah, you know what they say. Any landing you can walk away from is a good one.
I look at CC's legs. Can he walk?
Yeah, I think CC can walk. You took a little damage, right?
All right.
I actually soaked the damage.
Nice.
Oh, okay, that's good. I'll kind of like say we should probably check on Dr. Z. She was in the cabin while that was all going on.
I want to look at is there any way to check the systems or whatever, see if there's anything we can do to keep the ship from exploding?
Right now, it's the danger warnings are going off, like critical failure. It does not look good. Everything's kind of indicating that you probably want to get away from the ship sooner than later.
Bing, bong, bing.
I'm gonna grab my favorite stuff and head for the exit. Like nothing happened.
Okay.
Prepare to disembark in case of a water landing. There are slides that come out of each airlock that could be used as a flotation device. In the case of a lava-borne landing, there's not a lot you can do. Oh yeah, no, they're gone. Like, this
Damn
is
it!
normal automatic protocol. Like, they don't. Those were one of the first things gone on this ship.
Important question: when I get off the ship, did I get the spider?
As you get off the ship, you see it kind of like laying on the ground. It's like kind of moving a little bit. Normally, it takes a while for these things to kind of de-thaw from space. So it looks like it may have just gotten woken up. Yeah.
Oh, so if anyone has any difficulties trying to understand what has just happened in episode 1 of Vast Grimm, imagine for a moment, if you will, that you were driving at speed down a local highway and suddenly a huntsman spider crawled out in front of you. Immediately, your reaction to this is to veer right super hard and roll your car until such time as either the occupants or the tiny spider has been killed. Once your car has been destroyed and is about to explode, you have jettisoned yourself from the car only to find out that the spider is still alive. Perfectly fine. And all you have achieved is to destroy your car. That is the sci-fi equivalent of the non-sci-fi equivalent of what has just occurred here.
Yep.
I pull my tactical knife, walk over to the spider, and slam it through its head.
And so this thing is large. It is easily like probably 20 feet long. So even though it's kind of hunched over down on the ground, the top of the head is probably about 6.5 feet off of the ground. So you'll have to kind of reach up to do it. Before you do that, Dr. Z and Kynes 57, have you worked your way off the ship? Tell me what you two are doing. Just
Kynes is pushing a giant steamer trunk filled with cleaning equipment off of the thing.
Excellent.
Dr. Z has, she was actually in her bunk grabbing her stuff when everything went cattywampus. And so she's got her, she comes stumbling out and she's got like just a big gash on her forehead that's bleeding all over the place. And she's kind of run her hand through her hair, so her hair is kind of slicked back from it. And she's limping as usual. And she gets outside and takes one look at the spider and points her shotgun at its head.
Nice. Nice.
Do you require medical assistance, Doctor?
Abundantly.
Probably the last person to leave the ship will be Matisse. For a variety of reasons. Firstly, I would like to save the booze. Like I basically just unhinge the housing, take the whole like freaking canister with me. I would also like to like lift up my little treasure trove, and if anything, just grab like a fistful of just stuff into my pockets. And then as I'm about to leave, I'm going, okay, everything's gonna blow up. I stop, and then I realize that I'm right next to the unoccupied quarters of CC. I then quickly duck in and see if I want to grab just a random something from everyone's rooms.
Excellent. As you're grabbing things, you can hear things starting to explode and fire off. So while you're doing that, we'll get back to Cece, who was already outside. You were about to go and stab it with the knife. I'll let you stab it with the knife, but then after that, you're going to have to roll initiative for the group. So go ahead and roll to hit. It's the normal difficulty with a strength attack like this is going to be 12, but because it's still kind of waking up almost, we'll drop that down to a 10. But knowing how you've been rolling lately, Something bad's gonna happen.
No, I got a dirty 20 this time.
Awesome, excellent.
Breaking
And
the streak.
roll the damage.
All right. What is the damage on a tactical knife?
I'm sorry. So you had a tactical knife, I believe, is a D4.
All right.
Well done, Dave. You got a 20 on the frozen spider.
For 1 point of damage, I don't know if we add our strength to that or not.
You do not. And then they've got. You like go to jam down on it, and like you're hitting it, but the exoskeleton, because it's got like it's like your knife is going through a thin layer of ice that was already starting to thaw off of the giant bug-like creature. Let's see, so you can see what this nasty thing looks like, except for the glare. Yeah. So you start to crack it a little bit, but you don't actually feel any meaty goodness as your knife's trying to go in.
Exoskeleton so hard.
Roll a d6. This is going to be the initiative for the group. If you roll a 1 to 3, the enemies go first. If you roll a 4 to 6, the Legion will go first. I just gave you that 4. Okay, the Legion is going to go first.
I was gonna say, is this like a molten skin?
It is not. No, it is not molten.
Okay, good. It's like he stabs into it. It's like, ha! And then really, it's just behind us, like with freshly molted, like. God damn it.
So we're gonna have this group go, and then we'll figure out what's happening with Matisse during this round, as Matisse is trying to scavenge some things. So everybody roll an individual d6 and add your agility to it. That will be the initiative of the individuals in the group.
Okay, I got a straight up 6.
Nice.
That would be a -1. Matisse is busy.
Matisse is occupied.
So Cece, you are standing right there. You're. What are you going to do since your
So
knife
I'm kind
didn't
of
go
like
so well?
hanging from it with my tactical knife jammed in its head.
Uh-huh.
Then I reach down to my other hip and grab my laser knife, and I'm just gonna try and come up underneath of it.
Excellent. Okay. Go ahead and roll. This will just, because you're right on it, it's still kind of immobile a little bit. We'll give you the DR10 again.
All right, that's a 16.
That hits.
What does the laser knife do?
The laser knife. Hang on just one moment.
It slices, it dices, it makes Julian fries.
Yes, it
It's
does.
just a D4 that I actually
Yep.
have written down. So. Well, that's 4 points of lasery goodness.
Excellent. You can feel it like heating up and just kind of like going into it as it starts to let out a little tiny little kind of squeal. The giant nasty bug-like creature as you're cutting into it. Roll a d12 as well, Dave, as you're right in front of its face.
That's a 7.
Okay. Dr. Z, what are you going to do? You see CC kind of right in front of it, hanging off with one blade and kind of digging in with another.
I'm shooting that thing.
Okay.
I'm going to do my best to avoid CC.
Excellent. Shooting is a presence test because you're aiming.
Okay. That's going to be a 16.
That hits.
Yay! And then that's a D8 for the shotgun shell. That's going to be 5.
Excellent. You blast a little chunk into it. You see some ice flecks shoot off, and a little bit of exoskeleton breaks away as some of its fleshy goodness splatters away just a bit. And Kynes 57, what are you going to do?
So Kynes has pulled over one half of his vest, and there's a very obvious like first aid kit set up hanging down underneath, and he's been following the Dr. Z around, and you can hear him saying engage nurture mode, and is trying to take care of her. Is it her wounds?
Her.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. I assume
I don't know if her action is allowing me to do, but that's still 100% what's happening.
She's like kind of ducking and like trying to aim, and she shoots, and after she fires, she kind of sits back for a second to see how it goes. And I would imagine that's when he like starts wrapping bandages around her.
Okay, yeah, you
She
can
finally pauses for a second.
You can totally do that and try and bandage her up.
Thank you.
I've got a med. I do have a med kit.
Okay.
I can see that its presence D6 uses, but for whatever reason I can't see the rest of the details. I think it heals a D4.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, so you can go ahead and heal that if you want. You can roll that kinds.
That's a 3.
Okay. So Dr. Z, you get 3.
Nice.
Matisse, you hear, like, all of a sudden you can hear that bits and parts of the ship are starting to catch fire. What are you going to? Are you just trying to grab whatever you can?
Oh yeah, just things that look like they have like some kind of importance, or like some sort of something that like frivolities that the others may have.
Okay. You manage. How long are you going to stay in here, trying to get things?
Not long, not a great deal. I mean, like it'd probably be like a looking around and seeing what's on display if there's anything, you know, and then grab something. Like, I mean, if you guys know what your quarters look like, I can tell you exactly what I grab.
I can tell you what would stand out if
Yeah, totally.
There's a small glass gray mouse. It's like a half-inch tall.
Yep.
And it's sitting on her nightstand. It's the only item on her nightstand.
Yeah, straightaway pocket. Whoa.
You can see that my pillow's kind of jacked up a little bit, and if you lift it up, there's like this mangy, dirty, Mighty Mouse style stuff.
I'll take the Mighty Mouse doll. Yay!
Nice.
And I'll take the pillow.
Do you know where my closet is?
I imagine it is the janitor's closet.
It is just the back of the janitor's closet.
I will grab a bucket of bleach.
Yeah, I'm about to say I brought most of my worldly possessions out with me in this this thing, but
Yeah.
there were some backup cleaning. It's like the only thing in the entire ship that's well stocked.
He just follows the permanent trail of glitter.
Yeah. No, it's just somehow or another there's not a single, like, I love the imagination that the rest of the ship is completely and utterly covered in glitter, but yeah, this one cupboard has not a single speck of glitter on it somehow.
There's there's a lot of fine mahogany paneling in one corner also too, which is where I normally stand. Like, doesn't match the rest of the ship.
Yeah,
but...
no, I'll definitely grab one of the extra bottles of bleach, as I'm just like yeah, and then I will run. Run, Matisse.
While Matisse is doing that, the Salzarite kind of breaks through the what little bit of ice is still on it, and it goes to try and use its pinchers on Cece, since Cece is right there. Cece, you're going to need to roll an agility test with the DR12 to avoid the mandible crush.
All right, and I think I'm wearing armor that makes it harder.
It does. The agility makes the agility worse, but it ends up soaking a lot of the damage.
Well, that's a 17, and I needed actually a 14. So
nice. Okay. Somehow it's like it's in its still kind of dreamy state. It tries pinching at you, but does not manage to get you.
He's like hanging and swinging back and forth like a pendulum, to trying to gain some momentum and also moving out of the way of the pinchers.
Excellent.
Mandibles.
So that brings it to you, Cece. What are you going to do?
I want to try something different. I want to use that momentum from swinging back and forth, try and swing up behind its head and land on its neck.
Excellent. Okay. Go ahead and do an agility test for that.
Any chance I can do it like pull-up style?
Sure, you can use your strength. Go for it.
All right. Well, that's an 8 on the die, or 7 on the die, which brings it to an 8. Not
all
gonna
right.
quite get there.
Yeah, you
like gym class all over again.
But like you can move and do an attacking round. So if you wanted to try and do that, not make it happen and try and jab it with your laser knife in the same round, I'd be totally okay with that.
Sure, why not? Let's see. Oh, no, not gonna happen.
Okay. Dr. Z?
Where I shot it, did it hit on the top or the bottom?
It hit like they've got their head, and it kind of hit like on its torso-y area.
Okay. I am going to run forward and stab it with the dagger that's on the end of my shotgun, and I want to try to get it in the spot where I broke off its chitin.
Excellent. Very good. Roll to hit. That is going to be a strength test because it's the physical. It's the melee.
It's a crit.
Nice. Excellent. So
I'm just saying, the infinite black dice are treating me well tonight.
Excellent. That's great.
Thank you.
As they should.
And then, so that's a D4, I believe?
Yes, it is. And it does, not only does it do 2 times damage, but it also reduces the armor tier by 1 when you crit on an attack like this. Which is nice because they have, every time you've been attacking, they have a tier 1 armor, so I've been rolling a D2 to reduce the armor, or the damage that it takes, so, yeah.
Nice. Okay, well, he takes 6 points of damage.
You hear this scream type thing as you you can feel the end of your shotgun kind of digging in and moving around and tearing apart musculature under that shell. Kynes 57.
Dr. Cece, do you require assistance containing this creature?
Yes! Killing it! We're killing it!
What level of force should be applied? Oh, lethal force. Lethal force.
Yes!
Yes. So I'm gonna try to use my character sheet just died. My electric axe tribute.
Excellent. Very good. So with this, you're going to spend 1 of your daily neuromancy points. Mm-hmm. You're going to make a presence test with a DR 12.
Yeah, I'm gonna hold on to my last favor. Never mind.
Yep.
We'll roll first.
Just in case you fumble.
I'm gonna use my last favor to roll again.
Okay, excellent.
That is a nat 20.
Fantastic. All of a sudden, your a massive axe made of laser light extrudes from your arm. It'll last because you rolled the natural 20. It would normally last 2d6 rounds. I'm going to allow it to last for up to 12 rounds unless you decide to shut it off.
Sure. If we still need this 12 rounds later, we have a significant problem.
Yes. So you have it causes a d12 of damage. So go ahead and roll the damage, or roll the damage. No, actually, you activated it, but you haven't actually.
I activated
swung
it as my turn. That's what I was going to ask. So yeah, all of a sudden you see a giant electronic axe extend where my hand normally would be. You kind of see my hand flip open, and this giant electric axe extend out of it.
Excellent.
Engaging lethal mode.
Matisse, you are making your way out of the ship this round to see the rest of your legion, right at the end of the round, with your pillowcase full of goodies. You see Cece kind of hanging on to this giant spider-like creature. Dr. Z with a gun kind of jabbed down into it, and Kynes 57 with a giant axe holding up. The Salzrite is going to whip its head to try and attack Dr. Z because of all of the pain that Dr. Z inflicted in it. Roll an agility test.
Oh no, that's a 7.
That does hit. Roll a d6 for damage that it does. And
1.
What's that?
1.
Excellent. And you have armor, so the armor itself would actually soak that. So even though it manages to latch onto you, it doesn't seem to. It hasn't been able to do any damage, and you kind of slipped right out through its pinchers.
Awesome.
That brings us to the top with Cece. What are you going to do?
Continuing with that movement of trying to get it onto its back.
Excellent.
I'm not giving up. That's a 19.
Nice. You hoist yourself easily atop of it now. And what are you going to do now that you're on top of it?
Now I'm just going to double hand the knife into the back of its skull.
Excellent. Okay.
Well, at least that's what I'm going to try and do.
Nice.
Let's see what my dice say. My dice say no. Just
Oh, no. Okay. You're trying, and it's just not happening for you. Dr. Z, what are you going to do?
Fucking bugs! Fucking bugs!
Excellent.
That is a 16.
Nice, that hits.
Okay. So that's a D4. That's 4.
Very good. And Kynes 57, now that you have this electric axe, are you going to swing it at the nasty beast?
Yes. While saying, Dr. Z, please be careful. I can only enter one mode at a time. I will swing my giant electro axe at it. With the strength, correct?
Yes.
That's a 13.
That hits, and the damage is the D12.
Correct. And that is a 9.
Like all of a sudden, you slice into it, and like you can feel bones shifting and breaking as it's just kind of crushing through it. It is still somehow alive, but you see it kind of recoiling and trying to work its way backwards as it's kind of dragging itself back a little bit. Matisse, what are you going to do as you see this all come to play? And also, as that cuts through, even though it's electric, like you see it getting kind of cauterized as it goes through. So like what you would normally see from the Salzarite as it would spurt the nasty fluids that are all inside of it. It smells horrid as it goes through. And you also realize that within this self-contained atmosphere, there is breathable air. All of this stuff happens so quickly. Anybody that might not have had their helmet on, you're totally fine, because whatever this man-made surface is, they made it hospitable to all of you. So Matisse, what are you going to do?
So as Matisse runs down the ramp, arms filled with a bag of stuff, and in the other hand he's got like this kind of like liter of bleach. He runs down the stairs, and then in the background, behind where the fight is going, as he says, "We're still too close. That is rocket fuel. That is burning. The explosion will be quite spectacular."
And just as you say that, you see little bops as the explosion is starting. You're running that way, warning everybody. You hear all of this. CC, what do you do?
I imagine we're still like quite close.
Yes.
Like that would be where the battle is happening. Yeah, no, I do not have. I have a negative. No, sorry, I have a decent toughness, but I have negatives in so many other things, including running, that I'm going to I'm going to be like, yeah, they've got this. They're fighting, and I'll fix them when they're dead. You just watch Matisse in the distance with all your stuff.
Excellent. The Salzarite itself on its turn is trying to back away as much as it can. It's moving as far out of the way, dragging Cece with it because Cece's on top, and it dislodges Dr. Z's end of the shotgun from it as it's backing up. Cece, what do you want to do?
So I want to, I'm going to leave my knives in it. I'm just going to swing my pulse rifle from my back and kind of lay back on it. And put the pulse rifle to the back of its head and pull the trigger.
Excellent. Unless you fumble, you're going to hit it.
That's a 10.
Okay, excellent. You want to roll the damage for the pulse rifle?
I sure do. That's 6 points.
You blast into it, and as you blast, it just kind of slumps down to the ground, and as it slumps down, you just kind of slide with it, your feet going into where you just shot.
Yeah, as it slides, I just sling it back on the pulse rifle back onto my back, and grab my knives and just roll away, and and join the rest of them in running.
Excellent. And Kynes, are you running as well, or shuffling away?
Nowhere near as fast as everybody else. Like a
Baymax kind of thing.
As we watch the flames start to come out, we definitely see Kynes a few feet behind everybody, caught disappear.
Excellent.
Oh no.
You're definitely getting a little bit of like soot and a little bit of debris hitting the back of you as you go, but it is the explosions are starting to happen. It's starting to pop and explode as you see the Hollow Serenade has probably seen its last flight. With that being said, I need to take a quick bio break. I'm gonna switch it to there. If anybody else wants to take a quick couple-minute break, that would be swell.
Yeah.
And then
Sure.
I'll be right back. Awesome. Hello, everyone, and we are back. Hope you all are still with us. The Salzarite was just destroyed. The yacht hull just exploded. And everybody is running to the best of their ability. Kynes 57 is kind of C-3POing it. Dr. Z is running with a bad hip.
He's just less concerned than everybody else.
Excellent. As you're moving away and you start to really kind of take in this strange planet, it's like the ground is metal with all these lines going through it. It all looks very it looks very well thought out and very well planned. There's something about how all the little nooks and crannies in the ground are all flowing towards the area where you were supposed to originally plant the ship, like in between these two man-made mountains that, like, off in the distance, it looks like there's some sort of snow on the top of them. And now that you're actually on the ground and you see it, it's almost as though that in between the mountains there's this big archway with a giant round sphere that it's hard to tell exactly what it is up ahead.
Am I getting any data on this from the map anymore?
Oh, yeah, okay, so the it's still projecting out, and it's kind of like it's guiding you that way, and you see like there's a little call out right there. Do you want to touch that and see what it pops up, and it says enter here. Enter here.
It looks like you're trying to find your destination.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, it's very plain to everybody because the star map is up, but I will still gesture that says, I think we're supposed to go this way.
All right, let's check that out.
Damn, this thing had that spider screwed up the gyroscopes on the ship, huh?
Yeah, no, that's exactly what happened. Listen, just before we head out any further, is anyone grossly injured?
I was, but good old Kynes took care of it for me.
Yes, and I'm like turning around, and I've still got this giant axe protruding out of my hand. It's like whirring through the air.
Yes.
Ooh,
You know,
what's
the
that
gross
thing?
part definitely, but no injury. That spider was disgusting.
Yes, no.
Uninfested.
Yes, disgusting is the least of it, but yes. Okay, well, if we're all doing all right, we should probably get going then, yeah?
Absolutely.
Have we successfully contained the creature?
Did the ship blow up?
The ship blew up. The creature is dead, oozing
Yeah.
out onto the ground. Where it was shot, the blood and fluid kind of went out, and it's all kind of filling in those little cracks that I just talked about being in the ground, almost like a giant like circuit board almost. So it's just kind of flowing into that until it ends, kind of working its
Oh,
way
that's not
towards you.
ominous. It's going to be a problem later at all.
At least you're clear of the fluid cracks.
Z just sort of stares at it. Oh shit.
And I'll like zoom my axe back down into my hand.
Nice.
Kind of reminds me of the blood runoff of the slaughterhouse.
A little bit.
Kind of reminds me of barbecue.
Kind of reminds me of a circuit board.
Kind of reminds me of the only home I've ever known bursting into flames.
Our only hope of escape. As she
It's all right, bud. I'll slap
slowly
you on the
turns her
back.
head to look at
Home is wherever your heart is. It'll be fine.
Yes, it was on the third deck.
Cece.
Not anymore.
I'm-
It might be in the mountains over there.
Cece, you blew up our ship. It's your job to find us another one.
I'll get right on that.
As
I was gonna say,
Head to the entrance.
well, while we're of course looking for a ship and making our way, I pour out 4 shots of the premium vodka that I salvaged from the ship, and I'll give I'll give back a little something from like that was taken. So I'll like I hand Dr. Z a shot glass and the tiny little mouse. And I'll hand CC the little Mighty Mouse and a shot glass as well. And he looks and he says, "I'm keeping the pillow." Um, and then I look at Heinz, Kynes, and I'm just like, I don't know if you can drink this, but you have this, and here is some bleach, and then I put it in your cart.
Excellent. And I drink the alcohol, and then I do a bleach back. So I down the alcohol, then I down a shot of bleach right afterwards.
Excellent.
Salute! As I just knock it back.
So
To not dying, at least for now.
And
As
go ahead.
Oh, as he does this, he knocks it back, but without the others noticing, winces in pain as there's a shard of metal sticking into his side, which he just kind of conceals for the time being.
Excellent.
Dr. Z is just, she shoots the shot and then just stares at the little mouse. And her hand folds over it and she sticks it in her pocket and she looks at Matisse. Good job. Thanks.
I will sheepishly take my stuffed Mighty Mouse and bury it under some stuff on my my hover plate and pretend it doesn't exist.
Nice. Kynes is still projecting the map of the planet or the planetoid.
All right, so we're supposed to enter there, you said?
Yes, where it says "enter here."
All right, let's
Is there a spot that says "you are here"?
Zooming out, zooming out, zooming out, zooming out.
As it zooms out, you can see a little glowing like wow, 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 where it looks like you probably are standing.
I say we fan out a little bit, have one of us walk in the road, the others keep an eye on the surroundings, and let's head toward that entrance.
Yeah, I'll unshoulder my pulse rifle and kind of train it wherever I'm looking for now.
And
I'll keep a lookout from the back as well.
okay, who is heading up towards the main center entrance?
I will.
Okay. And Kynes, where are you going to be?
I think it probably makes sense if I fall in right behind Dr. Z this time,
Okay.
mainly because I am the one who's projecting the map in front of us. So
Okay. You all make your way. It's like there's nothing moving on this planetoid. It's like it's eerily quiet, and it's not that it's cold. It's just that it feels sterile. As you work your way up towards that, where the two kind of strange mountains come together, the archway, as you get up there, the sphere in the center kind of opens up, revealing a strange mechanical eye that turns, pivots, circles around, looking everywhere, and then it puts out this small kind of greenish light that goes zzz, 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 until it brings the focus in, refining the light until it goes past Dr. Z, hones in on Kynes, and you see all of a sudden what looked like a way in between the mountains open up, and there's a giant tunnel inside. And that's where we should end tonight's session.
I think it likes you, Kynes.
I think it does too. I think it's sweet on Kynes.
Ah.
Who can blame it?
That's right.
Kynes is the best. Kynes healed me. Like, I'm all over the Kynes fan club at this point.
It was definitely a good little bit of extra hit points.
Oh yeah.
So as we wrap this up, I hope everybody that's watching enjoyed today's episode, and be sure to like, subscribe, and follow Infinite Black wherever you like to tap into the network. A couple of quick pieces of Vast Grimm news. Our first Vast Grimm game jam is live on Itch. It's themed Spoiled Spoils in time for Halloween. If there's something old and gross that you would find in a spaceship or a space station that would turn into a monster side quest adventure or some strange bit of grossness, make something and join our jam. We'll be doing this actual play every other Wednesday. So on the in-between weeks, I'm doing an interview show called the Netwurk Chatter. Next week, I'll be interviewing David Gallagher and Dave Cole, who were guest writers for Volatile Verse. The Vast Grimm is available as a PDF on both Itch and Drive-Thru. Physical copies can be pre-ordered on GameFound or you can go to vastgrimm.com. I'm Brian Colin, the host and GM. I'd like everybody to say where they can find you, because I didn't get to put it into the show notes today because of all of my audio technical troubles at the very beginning. We'll start first with Michael. Say whatever you'd like about yourself and what you do.
Hi, my name's Michael. I'm the Dead Aussie Gamer. I am a performer and entertainer specializing in role-playing games. I have my own Twitch channel and YouTube, but you can often find me just lurking around the internet on other people's channels, playing games and doing cool things, because I'm a big advocate of excellence in role-playing and mental health. So, it's a fun little thing, and yeah, you can find me tons of places. You can find me specifically next week, as I've got 2 major shows coming up on Robert Hartley GM's channel, as we are going to be playing the new Fool's Gold Kickstarter. And I'm also going to be helping out at ConSave, which was supposed to be DreadCon, which was a convention run by another friend of mine, but they had to cancel it, and so they called it ConSave. And I was like, that is brilliant. And I'm absolutely helping out. So that'll be on Wednesday, Thursday next week. So yeah, come follow my socials and find out where I'll be, and that'll be that's
awesome. And Katie?
Hi, I am Katie Downey, aka Goblin Katie. You can find me on Twitch and all the socials at Goblin Katie, Katie. I am a streamer and tabletop RPG player and DM. You can catch me on D4 every Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on twitch.tv/rockpunchatl or twitch.tv/D&D. I played Paladin Stacia Velisbard in the D4 stream, and it's a good time. Thursday nights at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch me on twitch.tv/mini-terrain-domain, where I play Rolo in the Dawnbringers. And on Sunday mornings, you can catch me streaming with the wonderful D&D Jordan Lee as we play Final Fantasy XIV for Brunchapalooza.
Excellent. And Dave?
Nerdarchy Steve from Nerdarchy for Nerds by Nerds, and basically just find Nerdarchy pretty much anywhere. It's just Google Nerdarchy or YouTube Nerdarchy. We make videos and write articles and make D&D products, basically.
Excellent. And Tony?
Hey, my name's Tony Vicenda. I'm Chief Alchemist over at Plus One EXP, which is a weird little brand that multi-classes in tabletop game design, beard and skincare alchemy, and the Bardic College of Content Creation. We make games, we review other people's games, we also make beard care and coming soon skincare products also that are all handmade and alchemically inspired. So if you love classic tabletop tropes, go check it out at plus1exp.com. Find us at plus1exp across all social media platforms. And if you're into science fiction games, we are actually playing Through the Void, which is one of our games on Friday, but we're using E.M. Newsom's sequel to the Drain called Meat Grinder that just came out. It's a mothership module to play through that. It's the second part of a stream we did a couple months ago that was a level 0 funnel and was an absolute blast because it blended some great things I love from BCC with Mothership, and then we threw them into an entirely different system